to discuss the history of shaving and why it's important for you as well as it is for me in a daily need to shave. Um, but before we go into that, we need to discuss what it benefits to you. I mean, if you find yourself clean shaven, obviously you're starting the day off right, you feel better about yourself, so that's definitely important. But before we go into that, we need to back up a couple thousand years, back into the time of the caveman. As you can see, he's got plenty of facial hair, and they would often find themselves scratching their face, not really sure why. So what they would do to try to alleviate the itching sensation would be to remove the hair on their face. Some of the tools that they would use is, in this picture we have two seashells. What they would do is they would take two separate seashells and they would clamp them together and remove patches of hair on their face one at a time. This is often painful and time consuming, so they were looking for something else they could use to shave better. Here we have a picture of a flint rock. They would sharpen that, and because it's got grooves and stuff, it's uneven, they would often find themselves cutting into their skin pretty bad and causing scars and whatnot. But in order to shave it, they needed a reason to. Obviously there was itching going on, but they were superstitious by nature. So, as you can see here, this caveman is quite scared, and he thinks that the spirits are entering through the beard, when really, in fact, there's something else going on. Inside the beard, lice and other parasites would accumulate onto the skin and cause irritations and obviously severe itching and sometimes even disease. Also, in times of battle, it was very important to be clean shaven. For instance, in Alexander the Great, he has a perfect track record. He's never lost a fight. One interesting thing to note, though, is that one battle when the Macedonians were fighting the Persians would often grab the Macedonians' beards and, pull them down to the ground and then spear them, often causing a lot of unnecessary casualties. So, Alexander told all his men that no longer are you going into battle, you must be clean shaven, otherwise you will not fight. It was so important he wouldn't even have stubble on his face. That's how seriously he took it. And also, when we think of shaving, we also think of prominent leaders of the past. Obviously, this is a picture of Alexander the Great. He's clean shaven, but we also think of, in Roman times, we have the Caesars. They would always be clean shaven. Also, when we think of clean shaven people today, we think of Barack Obama and all the presidents. Granted, Abe Lincoln was an exception, but by and large, these leaders around the world are usually clean shaven. So we know about the seashells, we know about the flint rock, but we also need to think about other tools that they used. One of them would be fire. Obviously, back in the caveman times, a lot of them would find themselves cutting their skin, so they thought, okay, well, instead of getting close shaven, I'm just going to use a stick, light it on fire, and then cool it down to where there's only embers on the end of the stick, and then they would rub it up against their beard. And that would thin out the beard. That wouldn't exactly get it clean shaven, but it was enough. Also, they used depilatory creams using exotic ingredients such as wood, wine, and even arsenic and other skin irritating chemicals. So, as time goes on and advanced technology comes, we have the straight razor. It was a huge improvement to the former methods, and back in Roman times they would actually have copper, similar things to the straight razor, but this is an iron one, which is a huge improvement in technology because the iron was very malleable. They can sharpen it and get a much cleaner shave than previous tools used. And then Gillette came up with an invention called the safety razor. Now it was safer than the straight razor because it had a little guard at the end of it, so the skin won't be pulled and then cut. And then obviously, as you recognize, this is a Mach 3, and this is what we use today, which was pretty important advancement in technology. And then Schick actually developed an electric razor. He lived in Alaska, and he needed a way to shave without using the cold water, because cold water and um, and the cruder methods of shaving would obviously cause irritations on the skin. So he developed an electric shaver to use without using water. I believe that straight razors give the closest shave. Technology doesn't always translate to better. So I just recently started straight razor shaving, I should say, and I find it a lot more refreshing. What it does is it forces you to prep the skin with warm water and soap, obviously, and it gets you a clean shave. But then, as you're taking your time, you start the day off right. And in this day and age where everybody's out the door in 5 minutes, their stress levels are obviously at a higher peak. And when you take the time out, it helps your overall stress levels be lowered.